Hi, I'm Deb Geyer with Quilters Hall of Fame. Jack Edson Portraits and Patterns is on display at the Quilters Hall of Fame right now through September 26, 2020. I sat down with Jack to talk about one of his pieces, Thomas Eakins Hexagon, and here's what he had to say.
During the isolation period, March, April 2020, I felt I had enough time to really concentrate on a major piece. So the artist Thomas Eakins, who was born 1843 and died 1916, has always been a great inspiration for me. And there are many photographs of him. He used photography in his work, oil painting, drawing, but also his friends would take pictures of him. So we have quite a few photographs of what he looked like. And on one hand, I've been told many artists use images of other people when the other person looks sort of like themselves. So that might be a factor of using Eakins' face. But also, there's something mysterious, unknowable about him. Really, what was he like? So the image I picked definitely has a very strange feeling to it. It's very dark on one side, but a very odd light is hitting his eye. And in this piece, I made the face using the tumbling blocks design of diamond shapes. And then even for me, the eye was something a little too wrong with it to leave it. So I actually took several blocks, probably about 8 blocks, tumbling blocks out of the piece, remade new ones, and sewed it all back in to get sort of a more readable image, but still keeping some of that, like peculiarity in the face. So it's not like I, couldn't do a realistic image of him. It's something I really wanted to leave this unsettling feeling when somebody looks at it. There's a psychological biography about him, and they put that photograph on the cover. For I think all of its oddness. But one thing to always remember, about portraits, the great portrait painter John Singer Sargent defined a portrait as a picture with something wrong with the mouth. That's how he defined a portrait. There's something wrong with the mouth. So that was a great portraitist.
I also saw on your post that you cut out a little hexagon a window. Does that help you to decide how it all goes together, what colors to put where?
Well, it's mainly to be working on the correct part of the picture. It's extremely confusing with all sorts of diamond shapes going every which way. You have to make sure you're working on the right one. So the little windows mask off everything but the pieces I'm working on. Yeah. Otherwise, you'll find you're doing the next door neighbor. When I make these things, I have to invent ways of doing it. There's no guidebook, there's no instruction manual. And the question is really, how am I going to make this? I've got the idea, a face of Thomas Eakins done with tumbling blocks, but really hexagons. But okay, I like it so far, but how are you going to make it? So there always ends up being some sort of little invention that's done. And in that one, I took the plastic ruler, the cutting ruler, and painted a hexagon, and then drew the shapes, the diamond shapes, to make the 6 diamonds, for the hexagon. So I would be sure that I was looking at the right, not only the right overall hexagon, but in each one, each diamond, and there's, as I say, 6 of them, and these can be assembled in different angles.
Yeah.
So that was, people ask me, oh, why don't you do an online tutorial about how to do this? Well, you gotta like be inventive. You can't just do what someone says.
Right.
This is the first and last time that piece is going to be made, not something that everybody in theory could follow the instructions and end up with one. It's not a paint by number or
Right.
this sort of thing. So
Doesn't come in a kit.
that's, I admire. Yes, yes, yes. They don't. And I changed my mind many times during the production, during making them.
Yeah.
I have my set of rules, my formula, but there's a lot of exceptions to that. When it's getting a little too pat, it's looking a little too much like what you might expect it to look like. So you have to, shake it up.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. So with the tumbling blocks has obvious 3 dimensions to it. Are there some parts of the piece that you intentionally flattened or brought out more 3 dimension?
Well, I would say within, the face, there's much more of an attempt to get the likeness rather than follow the 3-dimensional tumbling block. But then as we sort of get into more plain areas, the dark area, the hair, the shirt, the jacket, the background, that's when the tumbling block and all the other ways that those diamonds can be set together start taking on a life of their own. I wanted to think of a tightrope walker, walking on a tightrope. On one side's the image, on the other side is the pattern. That's really what we named this show, Portrait and Pattern, because I feel both are extremely important in patchwork quilts. We can do an image, but we also have this toolkit of geometric shapes and color that will do things, as we know from the history of American quilting.
Thank you for watching. We will be talking with Jack again soon. If you have a question for Jack, please leave it in the comments section. If you enjoyed the video, please give us a thumbs up and share it with your friends. We appreciate your support. Funding has been provided to the Quilters Hall of Fame from Indiana Humanities and the National Endowment for the Humanities, also Indiana Arts Commission and the Community Foundation of Randolph County.